Alright, in today's video we are going to look at color and at texture. Color is a fairly complicated, but it's a really useful element to be using. You can do a lot with it emotionally, expressively, as well as just visually. So we start out with this basic color wheel up here to describe all of our colors. And we are going to start with these primary colors that are listed right here. A primary color is something that by 8th grade, hopefully you have heard about in the past already. These are the building blocks of all other color. In order to make the rest of the colors, you have to have these three colors. And they are red, so you can double click right where it has the question marks, and you can type in the name. So red and blue and yellow. And then, to get even more spiffy, you can click on them and click this fill color and actually fill them in with their real color. Ta-da! Okay, so now we have these primary colors. We're going to label them with these arrows. These arrows are kind of large, so I'm actually going to shrink them down. And you can use this guy right here to sort of spin them. And go, you're a primary color. Not that small. You're a primary color. This arrow's going the wrong way, so I just click and drag it up across. You're a primary color. Okay, and that leaves the secondary colors left. Secondary colors are the colors that are made when you mix a primary with another primary. And they get put in between the two primaries on the color wheel. So these squares that are in between our two circles, that's going to be our secondary colors. The secondary colors are purple, orange, and green. Purple has to go in between red and blue because those are the two primary colors that are used to create it. Orange has to go in between red and yellow because those two colors make orange. And green has to go in between blue and yellow because, again, that's the color that gets made there. So again, we can click and drag, maybe, come here. There we go. Drag our little friends over. Click. Drag our little friends over. And drag our little friend over. Okay, so now we have labeled our lovely color wheel, except there are these little dudes here. These little guys, the little numbered ones. Those are the tertiary colors, so each of these numbers lines up. So you can click on here and start typing. Number 1 is in between red and purple, and that color is called red-purple. It's not called purple-red because you always name the primary color first. Number 2 is in between red and orange, so it is red-orange. Number 3 is in between yellow and orange, so it is yellow-orange. Number 4 is between yellow and green, so that is yellow-green. Number 5 is in between green and blue, so it is blue-green. You saw I almost started typing green-blue, but that's not real. It's not green-blue. It's blue-green. Don't let Crayola lie to you. They do. They have a green-blue crayon, and it's not real. I mean, it is real, but they're wrong. They're wrong, and I'm telling you right now. Okay, so those are those. If you want, you can go back through. This is optional. You can go through and add the colors for like in between. You can press this little custom color here in between blue and purple. Blue, blue, blue. Would become something like this, that purpley blue color. In between blue and green. Again. In between blue and green. Click and drag. You get kind of a tealy color. In between green and yellow is blue. No, go here. Not blue. Right there. There we go. Yellow, green. Great. And then in between yellow and orange is it's actually gonna be kind of this color. Well, maybe it's a little dark. We'll do a custom color again. A little more yellow. You're looking for kind of a school bus looking color. Yellow-orange is a school bus kind of color. If we look at this one, red-orange, in between red and orange is going to be something like this. And finally, this guy is going to be honestly kind of that color. Ta-da! Look at that. We didn't have to look that one up. I also don't know where this guy came from, so we're just going to delete him because that happens. Just click the delete button on my keyboard if you were wondering. You can always go to like File and Cut, but shortcuts. Okay, also important thing to mention, these little lines right here, they have this little key over here that tells you that each of these lines is connecting a complementary color pair. So blue and orange is a complementary color pair, purple and yellow, complementary color pair, etc., etc. The last thing we have to do for color is this section down here where it says neutral colors. These neutral colors are colors that are not found on the color wheel. They go with all of the colors on the color wheel, but they don't affect them and they don't change any of the color schemes because they don't interact with any other color on this wheel. They are neutral. They are restful. They stay in the background. So for this one, we are going to change it to white because white is the first one. This one, we are going to change it to black because black is another one. We can double click and actually type these in here. However, when you type black, you're going to have to select, black. You're going to have to select it and change the font to something else so you can actually see it. This one's white. This one here is gray, and guess what? That box is already gray, so we don't have to do anything. But this last one is a brown, so we do need to change this color to, yeah, that looks brown to me. Alright, so now that is your color notes for today. We are going to move on to texture. So I will click over here, and here we go, we're on texture. These notes will be real quick. Texture refers to what the surface of a work of art is. So whether it feels like something because you can actually touch it, or it looks like it would feel like something, but it's actually a smooth surface. So this is to incorporate both three-dimensional and two-dimensional artworks. If I had a three-dimensional sculpture of a cactus, it would feel prickly because I would actually feel the texture of the three-dimensional thing. So this first box over here gets pulled right into this one. Now visual texture, on the other hand, that's when you've taken a photograph or done a drawing. You've made something two-dimensional, but it still looks like it would have texture. So that's this guy right over here. And now visual texture, there's like a lot. You can do a lot when you're doing a drawing or when you're taking a photograph. So that breaks up into two different types. Simulated is when you are mimicking or imitating a real texture. So you're trying to pretend it's a real texture. If I'm drawing a realistic picture of a brick wall, I want the texture to look like I could rub my hands against it and feel a brick wall. However, sometimes I just want to make stuff up. I want to invent my own texture, and I can do that by repeating lines or shapes over and over again. Fun fact, you create simulated textures by repeating lines and shapes too, but that one you're just trying to base off of something that's real. This one, you're not necessarily basing it off of any real kind of source. So those are your texture notes, and you are all done with notes for right now.